Hi guys, my name is Kevin Gupta. Today in episode 2, we will be asking questions to an analyst turned successful entrepreneur, Kabir Singh. Kabir used to work for one of the largest telecommunications company in Australia. A few years back, Kabir did rigorous market analysis and decided to launch his own business called the AirBolt. And just a few months back, he successfully registered his first patent. Yes, guys, a patent. It is not an achievement that comes easily. Furthermore, he's receiving investments from people all around the globe on Kickstarter on an intuitive technology he developed and launched in July this year. Let's hear more from Kabir directly. Hey Kabir, how are you?
Good, Kevin. How about yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Hey, tell us about yourself and your analysis background to our viewers.
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm the founder of AirBolt. I'm an entrepreneur, a strategist, a creative thinker at heart. So I love creating, I love innovating. I love thinking outside the box, really, and taking on a challenge. I've got, other than launching my own businesses and running various companies over 11 years, I've got a vast amount of experience in business analysis, not only through the companies that I've actually brought to life, but during my time at Telstra, whereby my field of expertise actually pertained mainly to requirement analysis and strategy.
Wow, that's a hell lot of good experience, and you've mentioned a lot of key characteristics that as a good business analyst you've got to have. So hey, tell us about AirBolt.
Yeah, look, AirBolt's essentially an ecosystem that we've developed for both secure access and asset tracking for both retail and enterprise. So my journey actually started back in 2015, where I invented the world's first smart travel lock. Now, everything we do is designed based on a problem that we're trying to solve. So my problem essentially started when I was traveling to the US and I couldn't get into my baggage. I spent about 45 minutes trying to access my baggage and realized, there's got to be something better out there. And there wasn't. And that's where the journey on developing a smart lock began. We launched it on Kickstarter in 2015. We were funded in 3.5 days. And overall, we were 400% funded in general. Since then, what we have done essentially is build out a whole ecosystem, focusing on the technology that we developed in the AirBolt travel lock, so that we can deploy rapidly across different form factors in self, including padlocks, modules, and now we're expanding both into enterprise. So we're locking different assets. We're allowing staff management and user level audits and access to be granted at will.
That's really interesting, and you know what, I actually might need a couple of those smart locks too for myself, to be honest. I tend to lose a lot of my luggage every now and then.
Oh no. Yeah, it's quite frustrating actually. 24.5 million people lose their bags every year, so wow. You're not the only one. I understand the stress behind that.
Wow, yeah, that's a hell lot of analysis. So Kabir, what analysis did you do prior to opening up your business?
Yeah, sure. So when we are undertaking any new opportunity, we look at a whole variety of different factors. So for example, we would have undertaken research and market analysis, which really entails understanding consumer behavior and the economic trends that help confirm and improve that business idea. So essentially, be like, what size is the market? Is there an opportunity that we can kind of leverage and build upon? Understanding competitor analysis, and that kind of brings us into the product in itself. So you tie in the two different types of analysis to understand, when you build out a product, well, you should only be doing this if you know that there's a problem to be solved, but then you have to try and understand what the competitors are doing. What is the differentiator, between you and your competitors? Is there a need for improvement? What are the consumers looking for, right? And that's what you do to kind of build out your product. So for example, we invented an asset tracker. It's the world's smallest GPS, LTM, and NB-IoT tracker, lasting up to 12 months per chart. That may not mean much, but if you put it in perspective, there are 3 fundamental issues that we tried to solve, and those are things that we ascertained from doing our research. So 1, we realized asset trackers are too big. 2, if they were small, they would have a battery life of 3.5 hours to 3 days if you're lucky. And 3, Bluetooth trackers, if they went out of range, you'll never find something again.
Wow. Wow.
We
Yeah,
use
that's
that
right.
understanding to develop a tracker that fits on your keyring, but also lasts 12 months per charge. So that's really product analysis, understanding where your competitors fit and how your product's going to do better, right? And the
Yes.
final things is vendor assessment and selection. So that's understanding the partners that you want to build. It's not only kind of, going, there's 5 different vendors and they can provide the solution, but what value do they bring to you and your company over the long term? What are the costs actually? There are a lot of hidden costs when you discover, and you only be able to discover it when you undertake the right research. What kind of competitors they have and what are their factors, and then you have selection criteria to help you make the decisions behind it.
Wow, you've actually touched some really good points there, Kabir, because as part of the BA practice, the courses that we provide, we do go through a lot of these analysis techniques as part of the course, and we try and train our participants in, what are some of the best practices when you are looking for a vendor, what sort of vendor assessment you should do. For example, you should look at some legal policies, their licensing, the way they do their development, how do they form their contracts. Because they sometimes can be very tricky at the same time. What sort of requirements you got to prepare beforehand and during your negotiation with the vendors? What sort of acceptance criteria or evaluation criteria you want to have up front, and how you actually modify them as you're discussing your requirements with the vendor.
Exactly. And you might have extended requirements. You might be like, okay, well, we have, as a company, we have a vision to, be environmentally friendly. So you might want to understand what their environmental practices are, what they undertake there. You might need to know, like what their supplier chain looks like. So, are they looking after their staff? Are they looking after, does their supply chain, use minerals that shouldn't be? Is it undertaking illegal practices? Do you meet GDPR kind of requirements? They're all a whole selection that you need to kind of understand, and then tailor your analysis so that you look out for those things.
Yeah. There are some brilliant points, and hope our viewers watching our video, hopefully these points that we're actually making, they're very critical points, and hopefully they end up helping you and your organization when you're doing your vendor and product selection.
Exactly.
So there are some. So this has been really exciting. Now tell us about the patent. Now it is even more exciting to actually learn that you actually register your technology and you've got the patent.
Yeah, look, it's been 5.5 years in the making. We've worked really hard. I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals and aspects that AirBolt actually does that we didn't, cover. But essentially, when we speak about the ecosystem we build out, it's all about the technology that we've developed underneath. We have the capabilities, for example, to retrofit, our modules into hotels and allow automated, access to them, right? So our patent actually pertains to a portable electronic lock, essentially talking about the smarts within it, covers factors such as voice activation, facial recognition, tracking and audit trails, and also secondary release mechanisms, which essentially is you've got a lock, but there are multiple ways of opening locks, and the benefits of having additional release mechanisms are quite clear, sometimes should as a fail-safe, especially when you deploy under an enterprise deployment, you need multiple different ways. Our patent covers a lot of those aspects. We've got design patents granted, in multiple countries globally. We've got trademarks, but now the utility patents come through. It's a big leap forward for us as a company.
Wow. Hey, good luck with that, and congratulations on getting the patent registered.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
So tell us, how important do you think business analysis is in today's world?
That's a good question. Look, it's vital, but one of the key things I think should be understood is it's now become a natural part of a business. So whether you think you're doing analysis or whether you're not, when you're developing a business, it's become ingrained in a lot of company cultures. So there's always something that's being done which could be classified as analysis, whether it's you're doing research, whether you're trying to understand a competitor. They're all aspects of analysis, and
That's right. Yes.
That is key. It's vital to the foundations of an organization.
Well, that's definitely, I second that opinion. And hey, what suggestions would you like to give to those people looking to become an analyst?
Look, learn about the different fundamentals and understand what's involved in being an analyst. But keep your mind open. There's a whole variety of ways of doing things. It's you get your fundamentals right, and then it's all about experience, really.
Wow, that's a lot of insightful tips, Kabir. Thanks a lot for coming on our show.
Yeah, and look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on your show as well.
No worries. And thanks a lot to our viewers watching this video. If you feel we have missed out on any questions, and if you have any more questions that you want us to answer, please leave them down in the comments below, and we'll try our best to answer them as soon as we can. Thank you.